Okay, let's just get right into it. If you're here, it's probably because you've had that moment, right? You look at your retirement account, then you look at the calendar, and, well, the math just doesn't feel right. You feel like you're behind. This is for you.
But before we go a single step further, I need you to hear this and really let it sink in. It is not too late, and you have more leverage right now than you've ever had. We're going to prove that to you, not with wishful thinking, but with some pretty simple math. So, before we can build a plan to charge forward, we have to get really honest about the starting line. It's time to face the numbers, head on.
Now, this slide might make your stomach do a little flip, and that's okay. This is data straight from the Federal Reserve. Just look at the 45 to 54 age group. The median savings is about $115,000. Experts say it should probably be closer to 4 times your salary, maybe around $240,000. Yeah, that gap is real. But you know what? Denial is way more expensive than reality. Getting clear, even when it's uncomfortable, is the first step to actually getting control.
And before your brain even starts to go down that road of blame or shame, let's just stop. This situation is not entirely a personal failing. For so many of us, the deck was kind of stacked. We walked into our careers with huge student loan debts. The cost of raising a family went through the roof. And hey, did anyone teach you this stuff in school? Me neither. Even the system itself, with those default 401k contributions set at a measly 3%, kind of set people up to fall behind.
Okay, enough looking in the rearview mirror. This is where the whole story pivots. Because what all those scary retirement articles never, ever talk about is that right now, in the middle of your career, you have these incredible advantages, powerful advantages that a 25-year-old would do anything for. Advantage number 1, you are at the absolute peak of your earning power. I mean, most people hit their highest lifetime income in their late 40s. Your income is the fuel for building wealth, and right now, your engine is running at full throttle.
Second, you literally have a gift from the IRS. It's designed for people in your exact situation. They're called catch-up contributions. The moment you turn 50, boom, you are legally allowed to put an extra $7,500 a year into your 401k. This isn't some loophole, it's a tool made for late starters.
And your third advantage, and this one is so underrated, is clarity. A 25-year-old, they're just guessing. They're saving for a future they can't even imagine. You know what's important. You know what you actually want your life to look like, and you know it's just noise. That clarity is the why that will power this entire plan.
So with these advantages at our back, let's talk about the framework we're going to use. You've probably heard of FIRE, financial independence, retire early. But I want you to forget the online stereotype of some tech bro eating rice and beans. For our purposes, FIRE is just a set of powerful mathematical tools. That's all.
When you strip away all the hype, the core idea is so simple and so beautiful. FIRE just means building up your investments to a point where the money they generate is enough to cover your bills. Forever. That's it. Work suddenly becomes a choice. You don't have to quit. You just get to decide if you want to work.
And that's because FIRE isn't this one-size-fits-all thing. There are different flavors, you know? Lean FIRE is for the super frugal. Fat FIRE is for a big spending retirement. But for people starting mid-career, the two that are really interesting are Barista FIRE, where you kind of semi-retire, and especially this one, Coast FIRE, which is going to be our first major goal.
So let's zoom in on that one. Coast FIRE. For anyone who feels like they're playing catch-up, this is probably the most important milestone to understand. Hitting this number changes the entire game.
So what is it? Coast FIRE is the exact moment when your investment portfolio is big enough that if you never contributed another penny, it would still grow all on its own to hit your full retirement number by your target age. It's not the finish line. Think of it as the moment you can finally take your foot off the gas and just let the magic of compound interest do all the heavy lifting for you.
Let's make this real. Take a look at this table. Let's say your goal is a $1.5 million portfolio by the time you're 65. Well, if you're 45 today, you need to have about $388,000 invested to hit your Coast number. Once you're there, you're on track. The market can finish the job for you.
$388,000. Let that sink in. For a 45-year-old, that's the number where the market basically takes over and can carry you the rest of the way to a $1.5 million finish line. Hitting that number, wow, that's a whole new level of freedom and control.
Okay, so that Coast FIRE number, that's your first big milestone. But what about your final number, the finish line? And more importantly, how do you get there faster? We're about to get to the very heart of this whole thing. 2 super simple pieces of math that put you in the driver's seat of your own timeline.
First up, let's define that finish line, your FIRE number. The math here is shockingly simple. Step 1, figure out what you think you'll spend in a year in retirement. Step 2, multiply that number by 25. That's it. That's your target. So if you think you'll live on $60,000 a year, your number is $1.5 million. That's the destination on your map.
So you have your target. Now for the most important question in all of personal finance. What's the one thing, the one variable, that determines how quickly you get there?
Surprise, it's not how much money you make.
And it's definitely not about being some kind of stock-picking genius.
The single most powerful factor, the one variable that you control that changes everything, is your savings rate. The percentage of your take-home pay that you actually invest. Nothing else even comes close.
And this relationship, well, it's absolutely mind-blowing. Just look at this. If you have a 20% savings rate, you're looking at maybe 25 to 30 years to reach financial independence. But watch what happens if you can crank that rate up to 50%. The timeline shrinks to just 10 to 13 years. Think about that. You literally cut more than a decade off your working life. You're not just buying stocks, you are buying back years of your life. This is the most powerful lever you will ever have.
And that brings us right here to our final and really our most important slide. It all boils down to this single question. If your savings rate is the most powerful lever you have to completely change your future, what one change can you make this week to pull it?